If you've recently looked at fossil decks, because with the recent edition of the fossil query, fossil decks suddenly become viable, right? Most people will be talking about the Bastiodon deck. I think Azuji, I just watched the video from Azuji, and he was doing a video that featured Bastiodon. And in my locals in last week, I played another player who was using Iron Thorns EX along with Bastiodon as the main so-called defender, the main support Pokemon in his deck. So yeah, Bastiodon is the one which has more traction. It's probably the stronger deck. But if you have been playing Build and Battle during Perfect Order, you have remembered this particular Pokemon called the Tyrantrum, which was actually released during Perfect Order Build and Battle, and it was a decently strong deck back then because of this special ability whereby if you have any special energy attached, it gets 150 hit points. So with 180 hit points as the base, you plus 150, you get 330 hit points. So 330 is not a small number. It's actually 10 hit points more than a Dragapult EX, and we all know how strong that Pokemon is, and this is only on a one prizer. The only downside is the low attack strength, which is 160, using one fighting and one colorless, and obviously you want one of the energy to be a special energy. But I've been playing this deck over like 15-20 games, and my conclusion of it is that it's pretty mid. Recently, this is the build that I have right here, and I've recently added 2 Bedew to try and buy some time for the deck to develop, for the board to develop a little bit more. But that has been my struggle with it. To develop the board, you actually will need some time. So even though we run like 3 fossil queries, we can get our antique jaw fossils down into the bench. The problem is that the antique jaw fossil is only 60 hit points. So against Dragapult, it's a very good dive target because you cannot recover the item from your discard. So once they kill the antique jaw fossil, it essentially shuts down an entire line of jaw fossil, tyrant, and Tyrantrum, because you have to evolve your Tyrantrum from the jaw fossil. So by killing off the jaw fossils, basically they also kill off the potential to develop Tyrantrum, and it's also a one price. So there's no downside to killing the jaw fossils. Actually, it's a pretty good strategy against this sort of decks. That means against any fossil decks, what you want to do is really to target the fossils early if you can. So once you will get that one price as well, rather than dealing with the stage 2, just kill it off during the basic stage. So that's the issue. When the jaw fossils die, I cannot really recover it, and yeah, and then other issues like lack of damage and so on. So we'll look at I'll probably showcase 3 games. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so in this first game, we are playing versus a Mega Lucario deck. But you can see that the opponent only has like 49 elo, so it could be a pretty new player that's playing the Mega Lucario deck, because some of the decisions that they make here doesn't fully make sense. So that is that. So I'll just fast forward a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty natural to get mulligans with this deck because for your information, the jaw fossils are not a basic Pokemon. So basically my only basic Pokemon that I have in here, so let me view that, is the solrock lunatone, because the solrock lunatone is actually a pretty good draw engine, and that's I would say the only strong things about this deck. Obviously, you have things like a Relican, so that the Tyrantrum can use the Tyrant's attack, which is the Get Angry attack, so that you can do extra damage. For example, when your Tyrantrum is like down by 200 damage, for example. So 200 damage is on your Tyrantrum. He has a 330 hit points with special energy, and then with Relican on the board, you can actually use the Tyrant's Get Angry attack and do 400 damage with your Tyrantrum. So that kind of solves the problem. The only issue is that you really want to use Rare Candy to evolve your raw fossil into Tyrantrum, so they can get them to play faster. If you're playing them, evolving them from fossil to Tyrant to Tyrantrum is a little bit too slow, and that's my issue with this deck, which is how slow it develops the attackers. And before that, the only attackers you have is probably your solrock. Your lunatone is probably not a good attacker, so your solrock would be a good attacker, which is why I'm thinking of I thought of adding Bedew into the mix. But adding Badoo has its own issues whereby I have to sacrifice some other slots in the deck. And in this case, when I add Badoo, I sacrifice like one rare candy. I sacrifice like I believe one of the supporters as well. So I reduce some of my consistency in order to add the Badoo. So going back to the video, so this one was against the Mega Lucario deck. So I will fast forward a little bit. So you can see that he already has solrock lunatone on board. He starts first, uses Ultra Ball for Hariyama, but he does, yeah. So okay, that I actually don't know why he gets a Hariyama so early, because usually you want to get your Riolu down on the board turn one. Okay, so I was lucky enough to have two Jaw Fossils here. I'll just speed up the video a little bit. Yep. Then I think I will probably use, oh, I didn't use Lily because I have my rare candy Tyrantrum already in my hand. So I wanted to keep this hand because I could evolve into a Tyrantrum and then use Lily in the next turn. Test. No. Test. Okay, and here he evolves into Hariyama. I probably to boss, yeah. So that's a misplay from him. He should have been boxing one of my Jaw Fossils to knock it out. Instead, he bossed the Solrock, which I would have wanted to put into active anyway. Yeah, he gusted one of my Solrocks instead of the Jaw Fossil. So this is probably a new player because some of his plays do not make sense. For example, like one of the plays that doesn't make sense is this. He Ultra Ball for let's see, he Ultra Ball for Mega Lucario, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so I was, yeah, so it's a bug on Pokemon TCG Live where it doesn't show what he Ultra Ball target was. So he Ultra Ball for a Mega Lucario, right? He discarded an Iris Fighting Energy and a Boss's Order for a Mega Lucario, but he immediately played Lilies next just to shuffle the Mega Lucario back into his hand, which really doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't you Ultra Ball for a Riolu to set up your board before you played Lilies? Yeah, so a lot of the plays, quite a few of the plays from my opponent didn't make sense, which he's probably a new player. That 49 elo probably just, yeah, it's true that he's a new player. So it's probably one of the first few times he's playing Pokemon TCG and he's not really sure of how to use Ultra Ball. So he finally gets a Riolu on board and he puts down a Fez, which is also another like move that doesn't make sense because your Fez is actually weak to fighting, if you can see here. So any of my Tyrantrums will actually one shot the Fez. So the Fez is a liability on two prizes. You don't really want to put down the Fez until you have maybe one of your Pokemons knocked out and you want the Fez to get the extra draw 3. So if not, you don't really want to put down your Fez against a fighting deck because it's a liability. Okay, so he gets Premium Power Pro. I think this is a pretty long turn actually. Okay, he played two Premium Power Pros. So he manages to knock out the Solrock. Pretty cool. Yep, so I rare candy my Tyrantrum onto the board. Play my Lilies, get a fresh 8 cards. And pretty decent draw here. We're gonna get a Solrock. Misclick. So I don't know what I was thinking here. I wanted to click a Solrock, but I misclicked. I think I brain farted. And then to recover myself, I used my Pokepad to get another Solrock instead. Yeah. I was like beating myself up for getting a Lunatone with that Fighting Gong. Wasted the Fighting Gong there. Okay, so we draw 3. Power up our Tyrantrum. And the other Pokemon I need here is actually a Barbaracle so that I can power up the Tyrantrums a little bit faster. Okay. Gonna fast forward a little bit. Yeah. So he didn't. Yeah, he did 70 damage with his solrock. We draw further, so I'm probably gonna play my Binacle because I do want to get my Barbaracle on the board. And in this case, I can actually power up my Tyrantrum. The only issue, yeah, I can withdraw my Lunatone distant. So I power it up, air balloon my Lunatone, put a Tyrantrum into play, and with 330 hit points, it is an issue for him to deal with it. So I'm lucky enough that I discarded one of his Mega Lucarios, but he probably still has two of them in his deck. Usually you run 3, and then in this case he does have a Mega Lucario. I think he plays Gravity Mountain, and I believe with one Premium Power Pro and Mega Brave, he can actually knock out my Tyrantrum. But it is a lot of resources whereby he has to use another Premium Power Pro. I believe he already used 2. And again, he plays another Pokemon that's weak to fighting on the board again in Blood Moon Ursaluna. So another questionable play from our opponent here. So he uses Night Stretcher, gets Mega Lucario on board, and he will need Premium Power Pro in order to knock out my Tyrantrum. If he knocks out my Tyrantrum, it is a pretty big deal. So he doesn't have, and he decides to go for Aura Jab. So Aura Jab power up his Hariyama as well as his Blood Moon Ursaluna. Fair enough. Because you usually don't want to play Blood Moon Ursaluna until your opponent has taken like 5 prizes, and then your Blood Moon Ursaluna can be played and attacked with 0 cost. So that is also another like mistake from our Mega Lucario player here. So I kick away his Gravity Mountain so that I can have more hit points on my Tyrantrum. What do I do here? I forgot. I decide to Ultra Ball for what did I want? For a Tyrant? I think I wanted a Tyrant if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I got away my Lily's Ultra Ball for a Tyrant. Yeah, so that I can evolve the Tyrant to a Tyrantrum later because I wanted to get access to the Get Angry attack. And I didn't check whether I had Relicanth in my deck though, because the Relicanth could have been priced. Okay, so Tyragon is a key piece of this deck because Solrock Lunatone discards energy, and you want to get the energy back with Tyragon so that your Solrock Lunatone can keep drawing more cards. So we do 160 to the Mega Lucario player. It doesn't get the mill because we only mill their deck whenever we roll a hits. Yeah, so he's still attaching to his Blood Moon Soluna, which is really weird. Yeah, it's a weird play because most of the time you would want to attach to your Riolu so you can get another Mega Lucario into play. So yeah, weird plays. Yeah, maybe just a new player. Okay, so he swings forward. He doesn't understand the ability from Blood Moon Ursaluna, whereby you can only attack by every price cards. I mean, your energy cost is reduced by every price card your opponent has taken. So in this case, he would actually need 4 price. Sorry, four energy in order to attack on his Blood Moon Ursaluna because I've only taken 1 price here. Yeah, so that is yeah, that is a problem. Let me shift my angle. Yeah, so there is a problem here. Yeah. So he didn't read the Blood Moon Solona's ability well, and he put it into play, I think, with a switch, if I'm not wrong. I was still waiting for him to take action, and then he air balloons it to get it back out. Yeah, I think he plays for a switch and he air balloons it. So a lot of misplay from my opponent there. Actually, without the misplays, I believe like a decent Mega Lucario player would probably have won this match, most likely. Yeah, because if they didn't misuse the Premium Power Pro, saved it for later with a Gravity Mountain and one Premium Power Pro, he could have knocked out my Tyrantrum, and I would have been in serious trouble. So I evolve my Tyrant to Tyrantrum. Uh, I'm gonna get the Barbaracle as well as a Legacy Energy. I do have Relicanth in the deck, so if I want that, I have access to it, but I will need to draw into it because I have no more Pokepets, I believe. Okay, Barbaracle. So we're gonna power up our Tyrantrum on the bench, I believe. Okay, so I manually attach a Legacy Energy to it. This kind of quarry and probably Lilies, I believe. I think Lilies is not too important now. Yeah, we need the Relicanth. So I'm gonna retreat into my Tyrant with my Tyrantrum with a Tyrant inside, so that I can put the Relicanth down and get access to big damage after it's been after it's taken some damage. But now the boss target will obviously be my damaged Tyrantrum. So he plays Gravity Mountain. He has Premium Power Pro Plate, so he one-shots it. Fortunately, I have Legacy Energy on it. Yeah, so there's the issue whereby it's pretty difficult for me to sort of recover, because as you can see here, once my Tyrantrums has been knocked out, I have to develop another Tyrantrum from the fossil stage. So it is pretty slow, and I cannot recover the fossils using like Lana said because they're an item. I cannot recover it with Night Stretcher because they're not a Pokemon, and yeah, so those are the main weakness of it. It is pretty hard to recover once the Pokemon has been knocked out. Okay, so we knock out his Mega Lucario, and we just need 2 prizes. The Blood Moon Solona is actually weak to uh uh-huh. But you didn't know the Blood Moon Solana was weak to fighting. So we will need to rare candy, get a Tyrantrum. Yeah. So I use my fossil query to check whether the rare candy was in the deck, and then we have access to Team Rocket Patrol. So to get that rare candy, and then we can evolve the Tyrantrum, attach another fighting energy to it. Yeah. Oh, what? It's not a Pokemon. Oh yeah, this is kind of weird. So I can manually attach energy to the Jaw Fossil, but I cannot attach energy from Barbaracle to this. Yeah, that was dumb. I don't know whether it's a bug or whether it's an intended part of the rule. Ah, yeah, it sucks. It sucks because I wanted to attach the fighting energy, basic fighting energy to it, and then evolve it into a Tyrantrum, but now I can't. Can I still? Okay. Fortunately, I can still manually attach fighting energy to it. If not, this turn would have been terrible. And we knock out because the Burma Ursaluna is weak to fighting for the last. Knock out the Ursaluna for the last 2 prizes. So that's a win, but a bit against a very weak opponent, like a new player, so to say. Now we'll look at something that's a little bit more competitive. So against a 180 elo player who plays Dragapult EX with Crushing Hammers, and you will see how badly this goes for me. If you notice, the build of my Tyrantrum deck is very similar to Okidoki. Um, and Okidoki's big weakness was against Dragapult EX because it just doesn't deal well against spread damage. And it's the same here as well. The Tyrantrum deck also has the same weakness where it's weak against spread damage, especially as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the fossils have only 60 hit points, so it can be phantom dived. And yeah, so if the fossils are knocked out, we don't get to evolve our Tyrantrum. And yeah. And because we're running so many fossil quarries, we don't have space to run battle cages, which will have protectors against a phantom dive. So maybe moving forward, another improvement to the build could be to maybe cut down the number of fossil queries, and to run more battle cages instead. But that would hurt your consistency for like a protection card against Dragapult. So my board is decently set up. Like we went through a little bit quick here on the video. So by this stage, I have a Binacle with the energy attached. The problem with Binacle is that the retreat cost is pretty high. So air balloons will be needed in the deck in order to retreat the Binacle. But in this case, I use the Binacle's first attack, and I believe my Binacle gets knocked out. So Dragcloak's doing Dragcloak things. The rare candy is the Blaziken, and the Blaziken is gonna give energy retrieval from the discard pile. And I believe he manages to attack this turn. So Dragcloak doing Dragcloak things. Manual attach a Psychic, and then uses Blaziken to Seeding Spirit to retrieve apparently a Dark Energy. And that powers the Clefairy to attack, knocks out my Binacle in turn 2. So just in turn 2. And I'm in deep trouble. So you can see how slow this develops, whereby the Dragapult player already has a Blaziken EX on board, 2 Dragcloaks, a fully powered up Clefairy ready to attack every turn, and I only have like 2 floor shits, right? 2 floor shits, 2 jaw fossils. And it would take me, well, I can probably like rare candy if I get access to rare candy, so I can get a Tyrantrum this turn. But because I don't have any Barbaracle on my board, so there's no way for me to set up for attack this turn. So I will have to manually attach an energy to it and then wait for the next turn to manually attach another energy, and it's pretty slow. So I forgot how the I play this. I evolve a Tyrant, trying to get rare candy. Couldn't get rare candy. One maybe upgrade could be adding some Meowth to the deck so that I can maybe Ultra Ball for a Meowth, Meowth for a Petrel, and then Petrel for a rare candy. So that could be something that we can do. It's a bit convoluted, but it does give access to the Petrel supporter, so that we can get items from the deck. But that would reduce my bench space, and bench space is pretty limited with this board because at any stage I need space for my solrock lunatone engine, I need space for my Barbaracle, I need space for my Relicanth, and I also need 2 spots for my Tyrantrum and Jaw Fossil lines so that I can at least have one backup attacker on the bench. So yeah, so if I put in a Meowth, my bench space would be very limited. I would probably be overbenching, and then I don't have space for Relicanth, or I don't have space for another Tyrantrum line. That will be a problem. Or Barbaracle, for example, that would be a problem. Okay, so the Dragon player correctly identifies that letting me develop Tyrantrums would be a bad idea. Would be nice to take it out early. So he chose instead to target the Tyrant. So he knocks out the Tyrant with a boss's order. And there's nothing much I can do, right? Because then if I try to evolve the Tyrantrum, if I can't evolve the Tyrantrum next turn, he could maybe knock it out as well. Then just checking my deck. I do see that I have Rare Candy inside, but I don't have access to it. Things I could do now is, yeah, I could draw more. Still don't get access to it. I could develop another Tyrant, which I did. And I no longer have any more Jaw Fossils, because I think I priced 1, I believe. Or I priced 2 of them. Maybe I priced 2. Okay, so Dragapult player does Dragcloak things. We're gonna fast forward. They're gonna go through their recon directives, Ultra Ball for stuff for Dragapult. Oh no, for another Blaziken actually. Yeah. So I think what he's gonna do is probably to retreat the Clefairy, then push forward a Dragapult EX, use his double Blaziken to power it. Yep. Yep. So uses double Blaziken to power it, and he's able to Phantom Dive. Even gets a Lily off. So that's the consistency of Dragapult there. Dragapult Blaziken is probably one of the strongest variants moving forward in this current patch, in this current format of Pokemon TCG, because of the energy retrieval, how it's good against the Crushing Hammers build because of that energy retrieval. So he spreads the damage, prepares to knock out my Lunatone with another Phantom Dive, locks out my Solrock in this turn. So I can bring forward my Tyrantrum, but I cannot knock it out. So I can evolve it, I can power it, but I only do 160 damage. Another mistake there. Like, I was like, WTF, I'm supposed to be getting a Solrock. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, so I have to waste another Fighting Gong to get a Solrock out. And that will just clock up my bench space. Okay, I guess a Tyrantrum, but I don't have fossils. And because they're priced, I need to do a knockout in order to get some price, right? And I can't knock out the Dragapult. So I try my best, play red card. Yeah, boss the Clefairy so that I can get 2 prizes. I managed to mill 1 card, mill a rare candy. Not that big of a deal now. I mean, I'm just helping him to thin his deck anyway. Yeah, finally get access to 1 fossil query. Sorry, 1 jaw fossil. But if I put it down next turn, it's gonna get phantom dived. So anyway, for his 3 prizes now, he needs to take out my Lunatone, which can be phantom dived. He just needs to maybe spread damage on my Barbaracle so that he can take it down next turn. And yeah, take down another, like maybe a Solrock or Lunatone in the active for the next turn. And he has a Ruffin as well. The Ruffin is tough because it removes the special energy. So now at 180 hit points without the special energy, you can kill this with the Phantom Dive, kill this with the Phantom Dive, and I'm left with no attacking Pokemon, right? And that's basically game. And I haven't, yeah, only taken 2 prizes off the Clefairy. Haven't even done any damage to his Dragapult. Yeah, and then I just concede because it's already lost, like I explained earlier. So I didn't wait for it to play out. So now we're gonna look at another game against a Dhelmise deck. So a Dhelmise deck is another one prizer that's gonna be popular in this format because it has so-called inbuilt protection against Dragapult EX. The hide and sneak Pokemon is they have an ability that prevents any effects of attack from damaging them. That means your Phantom Dice will not work on hide and sneak Pokemon. And also since the attackers like such as the Dhelmise does I think 170 damage if you have 4 hide and sneak Pokemon in your discard, and then you pair that with a Lily's Clefairy at 170 damage times 2, you will do 340. You will instantly knock out a Dragapult EX. So basically, the hide and sneak decks are pretty good Dragapult EX counters because they're also a 1 price deck. Yeah, and they're going to be popular in this format. We're probably going to see quite a few of them being played at Worlds this year because there's going to be a higher percentage of Dragapult EXs there. And this is the variant which I already have Badil in my deck. But you will see that it doesn't do much. Yep, so we're going to speed up. Okay, so you may just get a Fan Rotom. in his starting hand. So draws the dance passes. So I also am fortunate enough to get a fossil query in my starting hand. And I have rare candy as well, so, and Tyrantrum, so I can develop a Tyrantrum on turn 2 before I Lilies. Pretty good hand. Like one of the best hands that I could have. One of the best starting hands I could have. Like I couldn't ask for any better starting hand. I even have like Badu on turn 2. Going second, so that I can item lock him. But he has Fan Rotom, so 1 energy, Fan Rotom, and because a Stadium is in play, so the Fan Rotom can now attack for 70 damage, which knocks out my Badu. So I already am 1 price down, and within 1 price decks, the price race is really important. Whoever gets the first prize in 1 price deck show off has the big advantage. Will probably win like 70% of the time. So he already has his first prize, so he's probably gonna win like 70% of the time. He's insanely favored. So now I can rare candy my Tyrantrum, place Lily's Determination to try and get another energy, which I do get another Rocky energy. That use fossil query, gets another jaw fossil on the board. So now I have 2 choices. I could use Fighting Gong to get a fighting energy, or I could play this to my Tyrantrum as a second energy to try and attack. Or I could use Fighting Gong, get a fighting energy, and then use the Lunar Cycle to try and draw another 3 cards. I forgot which decision I made here. Okay, just checking my deck. So checking what in the prizes. Wait. I got Binacle instead. Oh, so because I have Pokepad, I wanted to get Barbaracle on my turn 2. But I don't have energy. Oh, I do have a heal the next turn. Okay. So I did knock out the Fan Rotom. Okay, so uses Mortis. Interesting choice of supporter. Develops his board pretty well. Dhelmise in the active. And it's going to do 170 damage. So the problem is Tyrantrum versus Dhelmise has a huge issue. The Dhelmise has a fighting resistance of minus 30 damage. So my Tyrantrum does 160. 160, if you take 160 minus 30 from the resistance, you will only get 130 damage. And take note that it has 140 health. So my Tyrantrum does not one-shot a Dhelmise. It actually leaves 10 hit points remaining after attacking a Dhelmise. So in this case, the Okidoki decks would have been a better matchup because the Okidoki with Dark Energy or Prism Energy attached would do, I believe, 170. And 170 minus 30 is exactly equals to 140. So the Okidoki decks would knock out a Dhelmise on 1 hit if they're powered up with a Dark Energy or Prism Energy. But my Tyrantrum decks, even with a Special Energy attached, I cannot 1-hit KO a Dhelmise. And that's terrible because if I take 2 hits to kill a Dhelmise, the Dhelmise also take 2 hits to kill my Tyrantrum. It is a 1-to-1 exchange, and the Dhelmise is a basic. He can recover it with Night Stretcher, but my Tyrantrums is not a basic. I can recover it with a Night Stretcher, but I would need another Jaw Fossil in order to, and Rare Candy in order to get it in play. Takes 2 energy. Overall, you can see that it's just not as good as a Dhelmise in this case. So I think I get my Barbaracle. Yeah, I get a special energy, Barbaracle with Hilda. Draw for 3, Lunar Cycle. I get more fighting energy. Get a Tyrant. I was thinking of whether to attach another energy to the Tyrant. But I don't have access to a Tyrantrum here, which is not great. Yeah. So I managed to mill 1 card, but I only mill like Ultra Ball, not a big deal. Okay, I managed to get a Tyrantrum on the top deck, which is pretty fortunate. Pretty fortunate, but you will see that it's actually now I'm down the price raise like 4 to 5. He already taken 2 prize, I only taken 1 prize, and I'm really down like a Tyrantrum. But his first Dhelmise is still alive and kicking. I have no more Jaw Fossils in my deck. So yeah. Then yeah, I get Tarragon for next turn. Use my solrock to deliver the finishing blow to the Dhelmise. Okay, I finally get the last. Wait, the Jaw Fossil is in my hand. Okay. Still, I have my access to my last Jaw Fossil. It's not prize, but I don't have. Wait, did I get a Tyrantrum from here? Yeah, I won't need a rare candy though. So I get the Tyrantrum, but I have no more Tyrants. I need to put 2 Tyrants in my deck. Oh, he runs Unfair Stamp. Runs Unfair Stamp. Oof. Yeah, I could get access to Fighting Energy there. So I attach and I Lily. It's pretty fortunate draw of the Unfair Stamp, to be frank. Yeah, I get Rare Candy as well. I can't complain. I have a pretty good hand. Pretty good draw, but still, it takes 2 hits for me to even kill the Dhelmise. He wins. Mm-hmm. Okay, I play red card in to see what I can do. So I have access to my Get Angry attack, but I didn't use it. The issue now is that it's pretty close, right? So he's out of Dhelmise, but he can instantly resurrect a Dhelmise with a Night Stretcher. If he has Lana Said in his deck, he could also get them back. So that's the issue. He could recycle his Dhelmise from the discard pile, but I can't. So let's see what my opponent does. We are 3 prize to 3 prize. We're even on the price trade. He Pokepads another Dhelmise from his deck. Uses Irish Fighting Spirit, draws more. He has energy, then kills my Tyrantrum. I do have a backup Tyrantrum, but I don't have access to any special energy. Do I Lunar Cycle here? Okay, get the last Jaw Fossil. I Lunar Cycle. I can Rare Candy for because I can get Petrel for Rare Candy for Tyrantrum next turn. Okay, but I decided to get Tarragon instead. Okay. Pretty good mill. So I milled 3 cards. I was counting whether he could use Spiritomb. Yeah, so I was counting whether he could use Spiritomb, but he has 1 Spiritomb in his discard. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 hide and sneak Pokemon. He needs 13 in order to be able to use Spiritomb. But he is already planning it. You can see that he's already has 1 energy attached to his Sinistcha for Matcha Spin, because he is able to use Matcha Spin. He already has 9 high instinct Pokemon in the discard. So I Tarragon back some fighting energy. Yeah, I get another Tyrant. Not that useful, to be frank. Yeah, I didn't draw anymore. I think I'm out of special energy. Yeah. So I power the Tyrant and okay. Another pretty good mill. I mill 5 cards off his hand. That's insane. This is insane coin toss here. Insane. I mill 5 cards off his hand. I get access to my legacy energy. And he does the ultimate play. Uses Sinister to throw damage onto probably this and maybe... Well, he could actually throw it to this two, and then resurrect his Spirit Tomb for the last attack, provided he has the energy. So he uses Matcha Spin. So knocks out my Tyrantrum. I'm down to 1 price. I'm down to 2 price, sorry. 2 price is down to 1 price. So I could Legacy Energy this, knock it out, and then I'm down to 1 price. Then it's down to his Spirit Tomb play. And his final play, he Ultra Balls away last 2. Night stretches the Spirit Tomb from the grave. And somehow he has another Night Stretcher for an energy. So I think he runs 4 Night Stretches. Yeah. And he uses the spiritual end. He could quadruple any on the bench actually. Yeah. Is it 2 of the opponent's Pokemon? So he could like do this. Anyway, any one of it will be knocked out. So you can choose any of my 2 Pokemon and then they will be knocked out for the final 2 prizes. And he wins. So all in all, let's get a view deck. So this Tyrantrum deck is pretty promising. The Tyrantrum Pokemon by itself in the Pokemon TCG is pretty promising because of its ability, but there are many weaknesses to this deck, which is why I find that this deck is pretty mid. I would say this deck is like a C tier deck for me. Yeah, because of the fact that you can pair with solrock lunatone draw engine is fantastic. You can pair with Barbaracle for energy acceleration, for energy attach is fantastic. The issue is that because it comes from a fossil, it is pretty slow to set up, even with rare candies, and it's very weak to Dragapult. So any deck that's weak to Dragapult is obviously not going to go far in this current format because Dragapult is going to dominate. But even against a non-Dragapult decks, like you saw in my first game against a Mega Lucario, if the Mega Lucario player played well, he will probably have been favored to win that game anyway. So there are issues with this deck. But it is a pretty fun deck to try if you're not thinking it'll be competitive, or you could put down comments here in the video on how you think this deck can be further improved. Meanwhile, maybe I could also check out what other, like I've seen some other small content creators on YouTube also try and do videos about the Tyrantrum decks. I haven't really gone through their deck builds, so maybe I could look at some of their deck builds and try them out and see whether they have a better build of Tyrantrum. Alright, so thanks for watching and we'll see you guys in the next one.